The most powerful moment in Ozark, with Season 4 Part 2 drawing to a close and cementing the end of the story that we received over the 5-year period, I thought I'd take a look at the moment in Season 4 Part 2 that stood out for me as being the most powerful and resonated with me the most. So let's jump into it. Here is the most powerful moment in Ozark. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Throughout Part 2 of Season 4, there were so many moments that stood out and could have potentially been considered the most powerful in the show. One moment that I did consider putting at number 1 occurred in the finale, and that was Ruth's death. That moment specifically was one that I felt as the audience we knew was inevitable, and we knew that she was never going to make it out of the show alive. The arc and journey that Ruth had been on was something that we knew was never going to end well, despite us caring so much about her. Following the murder of Harvey and the revelation for Camilla that Ruth murdered him from Claire, we saw Camilla approach Ruth and kill her in revenge. In this moment, we witnessed every ounce of Ruth in this specific scene, and Julia Garner delivered a performance that evoked emotions, stayed true to the character that we came to know and love over the past 5 years, and it was symbolic for a number of reasons. One, because the Langmores never amount to anything. Despite Ruth being the first clean one in 5 generations, she still wasn't able to escape the curse. 2, she was murdered in the place where the ghosts of her family lay rest. Everybody that has ever lived there has basically been killed, except for 3, and she herself has now joined them. And finally, the fact that she was killed in the place where she was building new beginnings. Her new beginnings were true to the direction of wanting to live life, move forward, and live a clean, prosperous life. However, all of that was taken away, and the place where she wanted to move forward with her life was the place where it was taken and will forever be stuck. Just like all of the other Langmores. It was a powerful moment, however not one that I would consider the most powerful. Another one that could have potentially taken the spot, and one that before even watching the show I thought would be sitting on the list, just because of its natural positioning, was the ending. With the PI Mel returning and throwing a spanner into the works, threatening to go to the police about the discovery of Ben, and with Jonah holding a weapon to him, it didn't seem like it was going to be plain sailing for the Birds to just go back and get the life that they've been working towards getting in Chicago. It left us with the question of, will the Birds ever get their happy ending? It was true to the show's core message of good versus evil and the positioning of the Birds being these immortal beings. With the cutting to black and then the shot being fired, it left it up to interpretation, and was a brave move for the creators of the show to take. We spent the entirety of the show watching the Birds aim to get out of the mess that Marty got them into 5 years ago, and in the closing moments we still had the uncertainty of if they will ever get that. I thought the idea of Jonah, the person who was the most against the lifestyle that they all decided to lead in the Ozarks, and actually broke away from the family for a long part of the show, holding the weapon and prepared to do the unthinkable where there was no going back, showed to me that they will never be able to escape their evil nuances that they've picked up throughout their time in the Ozark. If they do ever escape, which we don't know if they ever will, the things that they did and the behavioral mannerisms and actions that they've learned will never escape them. It was a powerful message. With that being said, the moment that I would deem the most powerful moment in Ozark Season 4 Part 2 occurs at the beginning of Part 2. I feel we were given a scene that was topped by no other in the show, and it comes from no other than Julia Garner. The scene that I'm referring to is the first 3 minutes and 53 seconds of Season 4 Part 2. We got the opening shot of Ruth following on from her driving away from the Birds at the end of Season 4 Part 1, and it's a close-up where we can simply see the emotion going round in her head and expressing through the tears in her eyes. It was clear what the writers wanted us to feel, and it was felt in every frame. There was a short piano score in the background consistent of 4 singular notes that also set the tone and mood perfectly. It was a somber piece that symbolized reminiscence and grief. From there we heard Ruth and Wyatt's conversation, and as we entered Ruth's mind where the reminiscence was happening, there was a slight reverb effect, which acted as a way of transitioning between present day and her mind. It was an extremely powerful stylistic choice and aided the moment well. We embarked on a conversation that Ruth was having with Wyatt about the plans that they were going to do with where their trailer is, and Ruth was laughing and looking as though she was having fun. This is a rarity. It's something we rarely ever saw Ruth experience, and we knew that she only really felt comfortable enough around Wyatt. It added to the loss that she was experiencing and allowed us to feel the contrast in moods and emotions that she had. The plans that they were discussing is what Ruth actually went on to do later on in the season, so it was something that stuck with her and actually added to the overall narrative too. We then drifted back to reality and present day, with the laugh of Ruth reverberating through our ears, which again allowed the transition to be smooth. The score picked up and turned into a more chordal piece, utilizing the same notes as before, allowing it to feel like the tension had risen slightly. We saw Ruth get out of the car, walk off, and let out a harrowing scream which also had the effect on, and allowed the weight of it to be felt. In this moment, we really saw the heartbreak, devastation, loneliness, and grief-stricken feelings that Ruth had, and we understood that she simply just didn't know what to do, by the fact that she was just pacing up and down and in complete tears. The emotional performance that Julia Garner delivered felt so real, and I commend that. As we saw Ruth crying, put her head in her hands and lean on the car, it cut to black and the episode and season began. It was a moment that not only set the mood and direction of the character, but set the overall tone and direction of the show. The emotions, pacing, score, stylistic choices, and delivery really set the part up for something special, and I truly believe that no other moment in this season topped it at all. Not because others weren't good, but because this one was just something special. So, there you have it. The moment that I think is the most powerful in the entirety of Ozark Season 4 Part 2. If you want to see a review of Ozark Season 4 Part 2, the ending explained, or an alternative ending to the show, one that I theorized myself, then hit on the I button or go over to the channel and you'll find more. What do you think is the most powerful moment of them all? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.